Hey guys, James here, and this is my second time recording this because when I finished the first video and I looked at the footage, and for some reason the audio was out of sync. It was the same thing for Ant-Man vs. Adam. I was hoping for that one. It was just a fluke. That's just an issue I have, so I'm trying a whole different way of recording. Anyways, hey guys, James here. Death Val is back. I say that every time, I feel like. But after almost half a year without episodes, good God, we are finally back in business for the rest of the year, and then Death Val will return again in September, probably. But next time, I don't care about it. Okay, this episode was announced back at MagFest. I did talk about it in my first prediction video for the season because MagFest has not happened yet at that point in time. I did mention it in Ant-Man vs. Adam, and I definitely mentioned it in my video trying to decipher the cipher. And I believe in both. I said I do not care, and my opinion is still I don't care about this matchup. Not to say it is a bad matchup by any means. I just don't care personally. Now, I've tried to get into Skyrim. It's just not for me personally, and I think that's fine. And then Dark Souls, I just have no real interest in getting into. So this isn't really a matchup for me. I'm not really familiar with these characters enough to really get invested, and there's not really anything about the matchup itself that gets me excited. Now, there are matchups that I don't know the characters, I'm not really that familiar with the franchises. I still like them. Using Skyrim as an example still, Alduin vs. Deathwing. Don't know anything about Skyrim or World of Warcraft. I still like that matchup. And, again, I'm not calling Chosen Undead versus Dragonborn bad. Not calling it a bad matchup, it's just not what I care about. That aside, I didn't think we'd be getting this early. I thought the second episode was definitely going to be one we did not know about. I believe they're still in the research process of Colex and Billcord, so those are definitely going to be later this season. I kind of just threw Billcord as a premiere, as a wild shot in the dark in my prediction video. But that aside, I was thinking this would be a mid to late season episode, not episode 2. But, it just means I can get talking about it out of the way and telling you I know nothing about this matchup. I'm kind of excited just because this episode was described to be a spiritual successor to Sauron versus the Lich King, only with more holy. And that was a good episode. That was like a solid 8 out of 10 episode. So I'm hoping this one can also be good. Not to say I have little faith. Anyways, what are the connections? Well, thank you, Death Val, not Discord, Wiki, for listing the connections because this was already announced, so they were already there for months. Silent, nameless, and customizable protagonists of 2011 fantasy RPG games with multiple releases. A good chunk of the connections were just based on the games. I just include that. I'm also reading this from my phone. Both were originally prisoners at the beginning of their stories before being set free by a random chance, which set them on journeys to become unlikely heroes to fulfill a destined prophecy and save the world from an extremely ancient and powerful godlike being who has destroyed and remade the world, used a powerful cult to work their will in the world, and work with a close relative. Both also devour souls and use them to become stronger, wear iconic suits of armor, has similar variety of weaponry and magic, and can transform into various monster forms. I don't know if the monster forms can be used in the fight. I don't really know anything of the lore with these two. And for my knowledge, Dark Souls lore and Skyrim lore gets a bit fucking wonky and batshit insane, so yeah, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm just gonna leave that to the experts who actually know this shit. I'm not gonna touch it. I'll let it be explained to me and go, I understand this. That aside, I feel like this episode might take place in taking a wild guess from what my limited knowledge has on the worlds of Dark Souls and Skyrim. I feel like it might take place in an abandoned castle or something like that, where you got rubble all over the place. It's not really crowded with people. Whether it be on the inside or the outside of the castle. If it's on the inside, then you can get tables to use in the fight and have them use the environment around them. But I feel like the setup could be as simple as just Dragonborn is trying to pickpocket Chosen Undead, because pickpocket's a big thing in Skyrim, I believe. I'm pretty sure on that. That could be a good setup. It would be a bit unique, and it would be a reasonable way to start one to fuck the other up. But have the fight kind of start simple. Have them use their most basic and iconic swords at the start of the fight. I believe I read a respect thread on Dragonborn, because I'm mainly using the Death Battle wikis for both of their arsenals, but I did kind of look a bit more into Dragonborn because he has a bit less on his page than Chosen Undead right now. But I looked into that a little bit, and I did find that he does have a yell that can disarm an opponent of their weaponry. I don't know if this is actually a thing. I could not really check any of the links the respect thread led to. It would not let me. So, excuse me. If he does have that, you could use that in the fight. Have him constantly disarm Chosen Undead. Because Chosen Undead has a much larger arsenal going by the wiki. And you can have him use a variety of different swords. You can also have them switch between swords. They could both use their axes, hammers. You can also have them have a bow and arrow fight. I know, Chosen Undead has crossbows and bows. As far as I know, Dragonborn only has a crossbow, but you can have a bit of a bow fight, a bit of an arrow fight. Have Chosen Undead uses lightning bolts that are actual crossbow bolts for an arrow. That's clever. Or his poison arrows, and which will rely on Dragonborn to take the defensive, use shields to try to power through and get in up close to Chosen Undead. Obviously you gotta have the parrying and the roll dodges. You gotta have that. The roll dodgings are already guaranteed to us, so you can have Chosen Undead parry some of Dragonborn's attacks. They have them both do roll dodges. Maybe Dragonborn can do a roll dodge to dodge some arrows before doing the rush with the shield. And also, have them use shields to defend each other from their sword attacks. That's a given. And then you could bring in the different types of magics that these two have. Have Chosen Undead, because have it start simple with Chosen Undead using his fire spells. He has a good amount of different fire techniques from what I could tell. From fireballs, breathing fire, shooting out fire, I guess causing a firestorm, going by some of the names of these. I looked up how some of their abilities work. I didn't look them all up, but I looked up some. But you could have that. You could have Dragonborn counter with frostbite, frostbite breath to freeze over the flames or counteract it. I know that goes against basic physics, but it would be cool, I guess. I feel like that's something that would totally happen anyways. But have that freeze over the flames and kind of a bit of a counteract. I don't believe Chosen Undead has any lightning techniques outside the lightning bolts, but you could have Dragonborn use chain lightning and kind of keep Chosen Undead on the back burner with lightning, and also his own fire spells and ice. And then you could have Chosen Undead use his different spells and soul techniques that he has. I think there's a soul shield. You can have that. Use the homing soul. What are they called? Homing soulmates. can do that. I think there's also a dark magic version of it. I'm assuming, going by like visuals and a bit of a video I watched. You can have him do that. There's also like a soul spear. Use that type of shit. I think he also has soul swords, so you can make one of those if Dragonborn fully disarms him. And at some point you could have Chosen Undead like make toxic air or toxic air, but Dragonborn needs to use, what's the name of the technique that I'm going to butcher? Femzagron. I hope I said that right. Basically, according to the Elden Ring wiki, makes him invulnerable to damage and losing stamina. Have him run through that, get a bit of a sword swing on Chosen Undead. Chosen Undead does like a roll back to dodge. I feel like this episode is going to be unlocking its inner Torian with the fucking rolls. Just a bunch of fucking backflips. That would be funny. That would be kind of funny. I'm not saying like Torian. I'm not saying that sentence is because it's going to be misunderstood in the worst way possible. But it'll be funny having Torian work on this and like mix the rolls with the flips. That would be cool. Get like Deathstroke doing the front flip and back flip type of situation. But you could do that. You could have Chosen Undead. I believe Chosen Undead has a few ways to mask his visibility. I don't think I used that sentence correctly, but he has Dark Mist. He could put Dragonborn in Dark Mist and get the jump on him. I believe he has ways to make himself invisible or blend in with the environments. You can do that type of shit. You get behind Dragonborn without Dragonborn noticing, and then use like White Dragon Breath, which it's kind of like sends a trail of what looks like ice. I'm assuming it's soul stuff, soul magic. Kind of get the jump on Dragonborn, or you could have Dragonborn roll jump out of its way and use his own fire spells or something, or his own crossbow. Get a shot on Chosen Undead. And then, like, nearing the end of the fight, like, they get into another sword fight, but they're trying to absorb the other's souls. Both learn that this other fucker can just steal my soul. So, like, if Chosen Undead wins, he's able to push back Dragonborn. Dragonborn tries to do the iconic shouts that I will name later, but Chosen Undead is able to react fast enough to use the, what's the name of the technique? Gravelord Great Sword Dance, which is apparently a technique or a spell, I don't know what the correct term would be, where he makes a bunch of giant soul swords things shoot out of the ground. It sends the opponent like up in the air. So Chosen Undead does that, is able to do that in time, and he is able to successfully take away absorb or devour Dragonborn's soul, and we end in a cool shot of Dragonborn's helmet on the ground off his head. Whether, I don't know if the soul absorption takes the body too, but have that shot of the helmet on the ground. That would be cool. Excuse me. And then roll reverse it for if Dragonborn wins. Dragonborn's able to push back Chosen Undead, and Chosen Undead tries to use the Gravelord Great Sword dance. But Dragonborn is able to yell Fusro Da to send that shockwave or wherever the hell it is, and to launch Chosen Undead back, and I am able to perform the sword thing. And then he uses like a Dragon Soul absorption. That's what's listed on the wiki, the Death Battle wiki. Does that and absorbs Chosen Undead's soul, killing him for good. That could be cool. I think he has multiple means of soul absorption, at least from what I read on the unofficial server. Because like they were talking about the matchup, I was kind of just listening in. I spoke occasionally because I don't know anything about this one. And then either way, either outcome, it would be cool to have a shot that says it has the iconic Dark Souls "You died." That would be cool. I would love to see that. That'd be sick. I would love that. I'm not a Dark Souls guy, but that would be cool to see. And who wins? From what I hear, Dragonborn should just fucking stomp. So I believe the only from what I could tell, stats are, at least for AP, I don't know what speed is for these two. Chosen Undead is like Star, and then Dragonborn is Universal or Uni, whatever. From what I could gather, like via just like gameplay of these two, not much going on. Where you get the good shit is via the lore. Lore I don't have sanity to look into and not make any sense of it. That's where like those high-end arguments come from. I don't know what the situation is for speed. Ask someone who knows these characters, or if anyone actually knows what their speed gets, feel free to tell me. I will read it, and I will make as much sense of it as I can. I don't know how complicated it gets. And from what I could tell, you could possibly make an argument of Chosen Undead outlasting Dragonborn with his revive system. But the issue with that argument is that Dragonborn has so many techniques to just absorb and consume Chosen Undead's soul to the point where the revive system is futile because his soul will just be gone, which will end the revive system of Chosen Undead. From my understanding, at least, I know nothing on these two. If I'm wrong, feel free to tell me how wrong I am. Then I will listen. I can't agree with you or not because I don't know these two. But my bet right now is just gonna be on not Chosen Undead, on Dragonborn. It just feels like the safer bet here. And for my roots, it's also just gonna be Dragonborn. I don't know these characters that well. I've not played any Dark Souls. I've at least played some Skyrim, so that is entirely where my route is going to be based on. But I hope the episode is good, and next time will definitely be one we don't know about. The Colex and build cord definitely going to be way later on, so I don't see those happening yet. And I hope the next episode is really exciting. Sans vs. Judge would be nice. I would be down for Sans vs. Judge. I would love Sans vs. Judge. Or maybe Aaron vs. Kaneki. Because you don't really have to worry about spoiling the end to Attack on Titan because apparently the anime is going to have an entirely different ending compared to the manga. So you don't really need to worry about doing that little spoiler situation. And people will still bitch regardless, even if you put a spoiler warning, like in Blake, Chris, and Mikasa. People can't read. But I hope the episode is good, and I'm happy for the people who have been wanting this matchup for years. Apparently, this is an episode Liam's been wanting to do since high school, and he's like 38. He's definitely not 38, but. I'm kidding with that one. It does seem like a matchup he's really passionate about, so I hope the episode's good. The last time we got this real big Liam episode was Aquabob, and that episode was terrible. I'm gonna get shot for saying that, but that episode was bad. Anyways, I hope the episode is good. I'm happy for the people who are excited for this, and yeah. Peace!